Shalom. Um, Blessings coming with a quick reading. Um, Everybody should be getting ready or preparing themselves further out for first fruits. So we'll speak about first fruits. Um, First fruits. Everybody should be done, or should have been done with their Passover. Should have had a wonderful Passover. Lots been going on. A lot of judgment since the children of Israel uh, enjoyed their Passovers. Um, so, with that said, I'm going to share about first fruits. Says the law ordered in general that the first of all ripe fruits and of liquors, or as it twice expressed, the first of first fruits should be offered in God's house, or the Most High, Yah's house. All right. And it should be done. So Exodus 22 and 29, verse 29, it says, you shall give me the firstborn among your sons. You shall do the same with your cattle and your flocks. And 7 days it shall remain with its mother, the male or firstborn shall remain with his mother. On the 8th day you shall give it to me, says the Most High. Exodus 23 and 19 reads, the choice first fruits of your soil you shall bring to the house of the Most High, Ahaya. All right. So again, the choice first fruits of your soil you shall bring to the house of the Most High, your Elohim. All right. Now let's get 34 and 27. 34 verse 27 in Exodus reads, and the Most High said to Moses, write down these commandments, for in accordance with these commandments I make an agreement with you and with Israel. All right. It was an act of allegiance to the Most High Yah, Ahaya, as to the giver of all right, or as being the giver of all. Okay, so this was an act of allegiance to the Most High. No exact quantity was commanded. This is what this dictionary is saying, not me. I'm just reading. But it was left to the spiritual and moral sense of each individual. On the next, or it says, on the morrow after the Passover Sabbath, i.e., on the 16th of Nisan, a sheaf of new corn was to be brought to the priest and waved before the altar in acknowledgement of the gift of fruitfulness. All right. To acknowledge the gift of fruitfulness, let's go to Leviticus. All right. Let me get it. Leviticus 2, verse 12. You may bring them to the Most High as an offering of your choice products, but they shall not be offered up on the altar for a pleasing odor. All right. So again, you may bring them to the Most High as an offering of choice products, but they shall not be offered upon the altar for a pleasing odor. All right. Let's go to let's go to Leviticus 23. 23 and 5. And it reads, in the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at twilight, there shall be a Passover offering to the Most High. All right. And on the 15th day of the month of the Lord's feast of unleavened bread, ye shall eat unleavened bread for 7 days. All right. Verse 10. All right. When you enter the land that I am giving to you, and you reap its harvest, you shall bring the first sheaf of your harvest to the priest. Verse 12. On the day that you elevate the sheaf, that means wave the sheaf, you shall offer as a burnt offering to the Most High a lamb of the first year without blemish. All right. All right. Now, so at the expiration of 7 weeks from this time, i.e., at the feast of Pentecost, meaning 50, an oblation was to be made of 2 loaves of leavened bread made from the new flour, which were to be waved like in the like manner, in the same way with the Passover sheaf. All right. So let's go to Exodus 34. Exodus 34 and 22. And that reads, you shall observe the Feast of Weeks of the first fruits of the wheat harvest, and the Feast of Ingathering at the turn of the year. All right. So again, you shall observe the Feast of Weeks of the first fruits of the wheat harvest, and the Feast of Ingathering at the turn of the year, at the change of the year. All right. Let's get Leviticus 23 again. Leviticus 23 and 15. And from the day on which you bring the sheaf of elevation offering, the day after the Sabbath, you shall count off 7 weeks. So the raising of the sheaf, right? And we know the sheaf is Yeshua, Christ, Jesus Christ. All right. I'm reading in the Tanakh, so it reads different. So I'm in Leviticus 23:15. And from the day on which you bring the sheaf of elevation, the sheaf waving offering, the day after the Sabbath, the Shabbat, you shall count off 7 weeks. They must be complete. That's what the scripture said. All right. go to 17, verse 17. You shall bring from your settlements 2 loaves of bread as an elevation offering, a wave offering. Each shall be made of 2/10 of a measure of choice flour, baked after leavening, and as first fruits, to the Most High, to the Most High power. All right, let's get Numbers. Uh, numbers. Hold on. Numbers. 28. Numbers 28 and 26 reads, um, on the day of the first fruits, your feast of weeks, Israel, when you bring an offering of new grain to the Most High, you shall observe a sacred occasion, event. You shall not work at your occupations, at your jobs. All right. So again, on the day of the first fruits, your feast of weeks, when you bring an offering of new grain to the Most High, you shall observe, see, or view a sacred occasion, event, and you shall not work at your occupations. All right. The feast of ingathering, the feast of tabernacles in the 7th month was itself an acknowledgement of the of the fruits of the harvest. All right. So um, it says the feast of ingathering, the feast of tabernacles in the 7th month was itself an acknowledgement of the fruits of the harvest. Let's check that out. Exodus 23 and 16. And it reads, and the feast of the harvest of the first fruits of your work of what you sowed in the field, and the feast of ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather in the results. All right. What are the results? The reward. Results can be answers, results, production of your work from the field. All right. What you are to receive, take in. All right. Okay, so that was Exodus 23:16. Let's read Exodus 34:22. Exodus 34:22. You shall observe the feast of weeks of the first fruits of the wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the turn of the year. Again. Leviticus 23. Again. Let's go back there. 23 and 39. Leviticus 23:39 reads, mark on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the yield of your land, remember. So it says mark, sign, make a sigil, symbol, mark on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered in the yield, the produce, the results of your land, and you shall observe the festival, the celebration of the Most High, to last 7 days, and a complete rest on the first day, and a complete rest on the 8th day. Praise the Most High. All right now. And now, these 4 sorts of offerings were national. Besides them, the 2 following were of an individual kind. All right. 5. A cake of the first dough that was baked was to be offered as a heave offering. Numbers 15. Let's go there. Numbers 15 um, and 19. 15 verse 19. And you and when you enter the land in which I am taking you, and you eat of the bread of the land, you shall set some aside as a gift to the Most High, to Ahiah, the Ancient of Days, as the first yield of your baking. All right. You shall set aside a loaf as a gift. You shall set it aside as a gift, like the gift from the threshing floor. All right. And 21 says, you shall make a gift to the Most High from the first yield of your baking throughout the ages, throughout time. All right. And let's okay. So let's see what else we got here. The first fruits of the land were to be brought in a basket to the holy place of the Most High's choice, or your God's choice, which is the Most High, the Elohim, Yah. And there presented to the priest who was to set the basket down before the altar. Let's see, Deuteronomy. All right. Deuteronomy. It's going to be Deuteronomy 26. 26 and 3:2. 26 verse 2. You shall take some of every first fruit of the soil of the ground, which you harvest from the land that the Most High your power is giving you. Put it in a basket and go to the place where the Most High your power will choose to establish his name. You shall go to the priest in charge at that time and say to him, I acknowledge this day before the Most High your power, that I have entered the land that the Most High swore he promised to our fathers to assign us. The priest shall take the basket from your hand and set it down in front of the altar of the Most High your power. You shall then recite as follows before the Most High. My father was a fugitive, Aramean. He went down to Egypt with meager numbers and sojourned there. But there he became a great and very populous nation. The Egyptians dwelt harshly with us and oppressed us. They imposed heavy labor upon us. We cried to the Most High, the Ancient of Days, our fathers, and the Lord heard our plea and saw our plight, our misery, and our oppression. The Most High freed us from Egypt bondage by a mighty hand and by an outstretched arm and awesome power and by signs and portents. He brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Wherefore I know, or wherefore I now, bring the first fruits of the soil, the ground, which you, O Most High, have given me. All right. The offerings were the prerequisite of the priest. All right. So let's go to Numbers. Get that too. Numbers, let's see what I want. Numbers 18. Numbers 18 and 11. 18 verse 11. This too shall be yours, the gift offerings of their contributions. All right. They are consecrated for your use. All the elevation offerings The wave offerings of the Israelites I give to you, to your sons, and to your daughters that are with you, as a due, a fee for all time. Every one of your household who is clean may eat it, says the Most High. Deuteronomy 18:4. Let's get that. Deuteronomy 18, verse 4 reads, You shall also give him the first fruits of your new grain and wine and oil, and the first shearing of your sheep. For the Most High your power has chosen him and his descendants out of all your tribes to be in attendance for service in the name of the Most High for all time, for all ages. All right. And Nehemiah, at the return from captivity, took pains to recognize the offerings of first fruits of both kinds and to appoint places to receive them. Nehemiah. Let's get it. Let's get Nehemiah. Give me a minute. Nehemiah 10. Okay. Nehemiah 10. And 35. Nehemiah 10 and 35. We have, let me make sure I have it right. We have cast lots among the priests, the Levites, and the people to bring the wood offering to the house of our power, our Elohim, by clans annually, each year, at set times, in order to provide fuel for the altar of the Most High, our power, as is written in the teaching. It's written in the teaching. And let's go to 37 and 12. Nehemiah 37. Am I saying that right? Oh no, and 37. Let me and verse 37. Ain't no 37. Um, where is it? Also the firstborn of our sons and our beasts, as it is written in the teaching, and to bring the firstlings of our cattle and flocks to the house of our power, the Elohim, for the priests who minister in the house of our Elohim. All right. Nehemiah 12. There's a Nehemiah 12 and 44. Nehemiah 12 and verse 44. It says, At that time men are appointed, they're chosen over the chambers, the rooms that served as treasuries for the gifts and the first fruits and the tithes, and into which the portions prescribed by the teaching for the priests. And Levites were gathered from the fields of the towns, for the people of Judah were grateful to the priests and Levites who were in attendance. All right. An offering of first fruits is mentioned as an acceptable one to the prophet Elisha. So let's read that too. All right. And I believe that's in 2 Kings. Second, if I'm correct. Hold on, let me get it. 2 Kings 4. 2 Kings 4, Uh, and 2, Elijah said to her, "What can I do for you? Tell me, what have you in the house?" She replied, "Your maidservant has nothing at all in the house except a jug of oil." "Go," he said, "and borrow vessels outside from all your neighbors, empty vessels, as many as you can." All right. "Then go in and shut the door behind you and your children, and pour oil into all those vessels, removing each one as it is filled." That's not what I want. I want. Oh, I'm in Second Kings. No, I want 4:42. Yeah, 4:42. That's what I want. Let me see. Yeah. A man came from Baal Shishah, and he brought the man of God some bread of the first reaping, 20 loaves of barley bread, and some fresh grain in his sack. It says on a stalk. And Elisha, see, and Elisha him to his mother. All right. So I'm gonna read it again. It says, a man came from Baal Shalisha, and he brought the man of God some bread of the first reaping, so of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley bread, and some fresh grain in his sack. To Elisha and to his mother. All right. So all praises. Um, enjoy your first fruits. You can go over the verses, but um, it's important to keep the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments, ordinances, and feast and holy days. And enjoy your first fruits.